Hello my friends, this is umonox, and in today's video I want to show you the mute behavior of the Tonverk in comparison to, for example, the Digitakt, why I find it so weird, what we can do about it, and also give you a practical example of a live jam situation with actually a repetitive pattern, and show you why the mute behavior of the Tonverk, the way it works, is actually not so great at the moment. But okay, first things first. So what do I mean with that? What is the difference between these machines, like the Digitakt and the Tonverk? Now, the way they mute is a little bit different to each other. Now, most of the Elektron boxes, including the Digitakt, they mute the notes instead of the actual track. So instead of the actual audio track. That's why we can often still hear the note playing back, even if we've already muted it. And on the Tonverk, this is not the case anymore. And I'm currently also working on a new track for you guys. And in that particular case, it really came to me that I've initially thought that the Tonverk mutes relatively similar to an MPC or something, so that it actually mutes the audio track, but it doesn't. It does it more or less in the same way like the other Elektron boxes do, yet still different. And that's why it is so weird, and I want to show you what I mean. Now, it's most apparent, of course, when we have longer sounds, because in that particular case, when we hit the mute, we can instantly hear the difference. So let's first create new projects on both machines to actually show you what I mean. So right here on the Digitakt, let's go in here and create a new project. Since I have the Tonverk hooked up to the Digitakt, I also have to make sure on the Digitakt that I have the audio input working. Otherwise we cannot hear the Tonverk. So let's go to the mixer. Yeah, we are already on that page, and turn that thing up. Like that. So now we should be able to hear the Tonverk as well. Okay, so first let's find sounds where I can demonstrate what I mean. We want to look for longer sounds. And let's actually see if I have something inside. On my own samples, I mean. Yeah, those are longer. Oh.
Woke up.
Yeah, those are vocals. Do I have some kind of a noise? Let's actually go the other way around. Let's find something here and record that onto the Digitakt. Let's take that clap, load it to the project, quickly assign it here. Let's do something to it. Maybe go onto a bus track and put in a reverb, so like the room's clang, to make it very long. This is just for demo purposes, guys. Really, only for demo purposes. Okay, so now let's record it. Right in here and do that. That's already fine. I save it as, I don't know, rec 10 and assign it here. I have to turn down the reverb now, and it should sound like that. Yeah. And now with that recorded sample, I reverse it. And that's what we now record on the Digitakt. Nope. It's probably the noise coming in. Okay, that's the noise, so let's actually take that for granted. And I do that like that. Okay, that's it. Yeah, so that we have both. And assign it to that track. We have more or less the same here and here. Yeah. So now let me show you what I mean when we mute those things. First, I make the sequence longer, like, I don't know, 32 steps should do at the moment. And let's set the start point right here a little bit so that we can hear it a little bit better. And we say do the same here, but in that case we take the end point, because on the Tonverk it's just reversed. Oh, that was probably wrong. Loop end, yeah, I need that one. Let's see if that works. And do the same here. And we take the actual node length up to 32 steps as well, so that we can make sure that it's 32 steps long. So let's play it back and see if that works. Yeah. It's probably not perfect. Let's see. Yeah, let's do the start like that, and on that one the end like that. Should do. Does that somehow match? Yeah, I guess it does somehow match. Okay, now comes the point. When we mute that stuff, go into mute mode, and I mute that stuff, listen to what happens on the Tonverk. It's off, right? And now, listen to what happens on the Digitakt when I do the same thing. See? It lets the sound play through towards the end. But the Tonverk doesn't. The Tonverk just cuts the note away instantly once I hit the mute. Just listen to that. So it instantly cuts it away and goes into the release phase here. Therefore ignoring the length of that trigger, ignoring the length of the note. So that's the weird thing that I mean. And we can actually compensate for that by making sure that we set the release longer. So like that, for example, we can actually replicate the same effect like we have it on the Digitakt. Let's have a listen. So now it does it, right? Okay, so that's how we can actually fix that problem, but maybe up to the point in the video here you might ask yourself, why should I even care about that behavior? Well, I tell you, when we have a live jam and we have a repetitive pattern and we do not want that riser to constantly repeat, we want to put it in where we see fit for it. And we may have to mute other stuff on the track as well, so we cannot actually hit that one precisely at the end of the bar where it needs to stop again. So let's just give you a quick example of what I mean. I just try to find some sounds here. Maybe something that I have in here for the recorded stuff. Yeah, those are already kicks that I have. I just load them because they are another great example. Just load them in here. And just do a quick sequence with that one. And now let's see if we find something else to put in there. Maybe like... Yeah, let's see. Something like that, for example. Yeah. Let's load both of these in. Now, usually I would do that on subtracks, but for demo purposes it should work now. And let's also take on another track that roomy, take that one, make it shorter a little, like also make that one a little bit quieter. So we have that, and let's put something in here, some sequence, just some random stuff actually, and give all these things, just to make it easier, different probabilities, so that they, when the pattern is repeating, they are not always there. So let's have a listen. See that there's just a probability. It's not always the same. Probably not the best sound for that purpose, but I think you get the idea. Let's see if I can find something here. Those sounds are different because I don't have the same sounds here. Have that kick, and let's see. Take that one. Do I have some hi-hats here? No, I don't have hi-hats. Let's take that snare instead. Assign the kick here. See if we can make some sort of a hi-hat out of this. Maybe something like that. And the other one on that track as well. No? That one. Make it short. And now for that thing we do another kind of a random pattern now. And do our probabilities here as well. So listen. Okay. We don't have the sounds in here already. Like to that track, where we have them here. But what I mean in the live jam situation is I wanna have that pattern right here and just have that pattern running through a couple of bars and then bring that thing in exactly where I want it. Like so, for example. Already turned it off. And do that. Have you seen? That was kind of the transition that I wanted to do, and I just tapped that off again, So hit it once, and then make sure that it runs through while focusing on the rest of these things again. And when I want to do that on the Tonverk right now, it would probably be a bit different, because yeah, let's actually make that kick a little bit shorter here. It's probably a little bit too. So let's do that. Just do the same thing here. Have a listen. And see, it was already off. So I would have to do things like. And now I accidentally turned it off again because of that behavior that the Tonverk just ignores the step length and always cuts away the note whenever I actually mute the track. And that's really a little bit of an annoying thing. And I mean, one could get used to this by just, we can make that work a little bit better by just doing that right here and set the length of the release very long, or just do an infinite release. If we want to, we could do that as well. That way the sample runs through completely. That's how we could solve that. Let's have a listen to how that sounds now. And yeah, that's just basically the difference, and I want to show you that. And I really hope that Elektron does a little bit of an adjustment here, or at least give us an option in here, maybe, where we can set how that works. Currently it's not working. There's no setting for that in here. But at least in my opinion, it should not ignore the length of the note that is set in here, or set on these individual notes of the tracks here. So muting can become a little bit tricky that way. And especially when you have a lot of stuff in there, which is currently not the case, of course. I just did something quick and dirty for you. But if you have a lot of things in there, you might get into trouble when you really always have to make sure that you hit those mutes in exactly the right places. You might mess up other mutes that way if you have to focus too much on a single thing. And so that's why I think it would be better if the muting does not cut away the note instantly, but does it the same way the other Elektron boxes do, by respecting the length of the note that is set up here. Okay guys, I hope that I was able to show you what I mean with these differences. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about it. And I really hope that you can make some use out of this and maybe take this into consideration when working with the Tonverk in comparison to all the other Elektron boxes that we have. Okay guys, so that's it for now. I wish you a great day and a great time, and I see you in my next video. Bye!